Hey, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Welcome to the shop. Well, really not in the shop. Close enough. I got some things I want to talk to you about. All you have to do, you know what the deal is? You have to watch. It's a big finger, isn't it? Wow. Hey, before we get started today, I have to let you know that we've been doing this program for Worldwide Woodturners for about a year now. And it's been an up and down road, but we're heading straight to the top right now. A lot of things going on. Now, I can't go in the shop. I'm not going to get into that. I'm kind of homebound, housebound, whatever bound. All right. But I got to let you know, I am having the best time in my life. Really. I'm getting a lot of calls every day about folks want to talk about wood turning, questions, emails, all kinds of stuff. And this is really making me keep going. So if you've got something you want to chat about, let's chat about it. My phone number's at the very end. I'd be glad to give you a call. We'll talk about it. Now that you watched a little bit, stick around and watch it a little bit more. Got to talk a little bit about some things going on. Worldwide Wood Turners is one of them. Worldwide Wood Turners, about a year ago, I came back from SWAT, Southwest Association of Turners. It meets in Waco, Texas, normally in August. They didn't meet this year in August. And it's one of the finest symposiums and get togethers of wood turners in the whole world. Why? Because they're there for one purpose. They're not there to sell memberships. Nope. They're not sell magazines. Nope. They're not there to sell t-shirts. Well, they do, but they're not there for that. But they are there to share the knowledge of wood turning. That's it. Share the knowledge of wood turning. Well, I came back after a 4 or 5 day visit. I was asked not the same question over and over again, but I was asking questions one after the other from wood turners who needed a little bit of help, that either didn't have a local club, wouldn't find a local club, didn't want to join a local club, couldn't afford to join the big club. And it just led us to believe that there's a space in this world for an internet, wood turning club. I came back, got with a whole bunch of my homies, my partners in crime, whatever you want to call them. No, I want to call them wood turners. I want to call them wood turners that shared my philosophy, is that we have some knowledge and you have some knowledge. And if we all share our knowledge, we'd all be better wood turners. That's where Worldwide Wood Turners came from. Now, if you want to see more of what we do, go to our website, www.worldwidewoodturners.org. www.worldwidewoodturners.org. No commas and all this stuff. All right? And we also have email on there. We got a place to contact us on it. We have a newsletter each month. We have Facebook pages. We have Google things. All that stuff. It's all there to share information. So if you'd like to join us, we all get together once a week, Wednesday evenings, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time, and you're invited to join. Hey, Martin joins us from New England, Great Britain, and Donald's in Australia, and Kevin's in South America. We got Jason in Canada. Hey, we can have you too. You can just join us. Costs nothing. Gotta explain that. Costs nothing. This is a free club. But you know why we want you there? It's a free club, but we need what you know. We also have what you don't know. So if you want to get involved, this is the place to do it. We have all that going on. Right now, if you're into turning Christmas ornaments, we have a Christmas ornament challenge going on. Yeah, it's in our newsletter. It's pretty simple. Turn a Christmas ornament, send us a photograph, we'll show it to everybody in the world, and then you have to give it away. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But you have to do it by the day we vote, sometime in early November. Yeah, that's the deadline. But hey, this is your club. We can have any deadline we want. Right. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I put out a YouTube, just like this one, and I posted on a couple of different sites. And I do own a company that sells online and by phone. Straight up. Most of y'all know I do. But that's not what this is about. This is about helping you turn wood. So a couple of weeks ago, I got to looking at Pinterest, Pinterest, and I saw some things because I was looking for something. So I went on the internet. I'm not permitted to go in the shop yet. Whole nother story. Leave it alone. All right. But I needed to keep busy, and had to keep busy with wood turning. Going for a drive is not comfortable. Going outside and even cutting my grass is not a good move. So I'm waiting here for the day when they're going to fix this. And I got to do things. And one was I was looking at other Christmas ideas and gift ideas that we can do that may make your life a little bitty bit what's going to make the wife happy, or the girlfriend, or both, or the boyfriend, or both. And hey, this is one of those things that we can all get into. What am I talking about? I'm talking about wood turned jewelry. That's right, jewelry. I mean, we can, right off the bat, here's a nifty little piece. This is a ring that's been turned, and then they figured out how to hold it and chuck it and turn it a second time. You see that little, yeah, that was taken out. That was done on a lathe. How about that? And then I got a couple of really nice ones here with 3 levels of materials put together. Now, this is just getting started, okay? Because the creativity for this is right there. What you need to think about is you can do this, and it's not difficult. A lot of times you're reluctant to do it because you look in a catalog and you see this piece for a ring and this thing for a ring and that thing for a ring, and then they give you this arbor that you have to have and it's $50, and then you got to have this other thing and you got to buy a special drill bit. No, you don't. You don't need any of that. Okay? Let's start off right now. There's an arbor or a mandrel for turning rings on. This is a picture of it. It's made of metal. Okay? And I know a friend that made his on a CNC machine. Hey, I don't have a CNC machine. I got a coping saw, a lathe, and a band saw. I can make one. Yeah. All right, let's take it out the picture. Okay, we can't take it out the picture, but what I can tell you is we're going to take a block of wood. Say it's an inch, inch and a half in diameter. We're going to chuck up in our 4-jaw chuck. It's good if you have it on a 10-inch chuck, but if you don't, you can still grab it, hold it, because you don't want any wobble in it, you don't want to move it, all right? And then we're going to step it up. How do you step it up? Get a couple of rings. Yeah, and you don't want it to be tight, but you want to be close. And what do you mean a couple of rings? I don't know. You got 5 or 6 in your house. Your wife's got a couple. Your daughter's got a few. Your sister-in-law, your girlfriend. They all have rings. So get those rings for an approximate size. Now, if somebody says, but I wear a 13. Well, I do. When I went to high school and they said, what size ring you wear? I wrote down 13. The lady called me back and said, no, we're not joking. I said, I'm not joking either. I wear 13. But if you need to do that, you can get a gauge. Now here's a picture of one that's metal, and it's got the rings, and it's got the bar. The bar is what you slip a ring down on to see what number it stops at, and that'll tell you what size it is. Now, the rings, you slip it on your finger, and if you like the fit, then that's the size you need to be there. But hey, let me caution you. That ring is narrow. I mean, itsy bitsy. So if that ring is real small, it might feel comfortable. But if you're going to do one that's 3/8 of an inch wide, or you go hog wild and do a 1/2 inch wide, it might not fit your finger right. I did a big one of the right size, and I didn't like it at all. But then look at all the bling I wear anyway. So you size it. Then you build your mandrel, or your arbor, or your holder rather, and you make it to where it'll fit this. Then what do? You drill the hole right down the center for a 1/4 bolt, right down the center. And then you get a stove bolt. You know what that is? That's the thing that's got the little, head with the countersink and all in it. You get a stove bolt, and you put it through and through. And when you tighten up the stove bolt, then the ends will expand and grab that piece without damaging it. All right, we're getting there, right? All right, we're getting there. I have one I made out of HDMP, HDVP, or something like that. That four-letter plastic stuff that's really malleable, and it's white. I bought a stick of it for something, and then I chucked it up, and I can't go get that right now. I apologize. But I chucked it up, made a ring out of it. I drilled about halfway, three-quarters way down with an oversized bit, maybe a 5/16, and then I tapped the bottom of it for quarter 20. And that way, when I put the ring on and turned the screw, the thing swelled up a little bit and held it. Because I'm not spinning a block of wood, I'm spinning a ring. So that'll work. If you need to make your own, save $50, put it in the bank. All right. I showed you the gauger. All right. Now, if you have this thing made, you can put it into your chuck and make it work and put a piece on, and you can shape it all. But let's get back to this. Suppose you don't have a chuck. Suppose you have a faceplate. Most lathes come with a faceplate. All right. Let's talk about faceplate here. We're going to take your regular 4-inch faceplate that came with your mini jet lathe or your Delta or whatever your brand you have, from Grizzly, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, whoever. They don't even sell a lathe at Home Depot, do they? All right. You got that 4-inch faceplate. Get you a block of 2x4. It could be 2x6. But get you a piece of 2x4 and anchor it to that faceplate. Put the right screws in all the holes. And hey, no drywall screws, okay? No drywall screws permitted. All right. You put them in there, and then you go on the other side and you mark with a mark slot where those holes are. Why? Because I don't want to hit those screws. Whatever I do on this side, I don't want to hit those screws. Why? They dull the hell out of your tools. All right. Now, I have this on here. I'm going to face it up, spinning on a lathe. It'd be spinning 3,000 RPMs. I don't care. I'm going to face it up. I'm going to put a hole right in the center that's going to fit my block of wood with a tenon on it, and I'm going to make that, okay? And I can make that between centers. Slip it in there, glue it up, bring the center up to it, and I have a mandrel spinning in front of me that does not require a chuck. All right, you getting there? Okay, now I have that mandrel. I'll do the same thing with drilling it and putting a bolt on the backside. Or remember, you have that little countersink to expand it a little bit. All right, it's going to pull it in and stretch it out a little bit, just like the commercial one does. We ain't inventing anything. It's water's water. All right, now we have that, and we can slip our piece on there. But what are we going to slip on there? Well, first we're going to bore the ring size into a block of wood. Now, I'm going to tell you, the prettiest I've ever done were end grain, but you can't always do end grain nicely because you got to pick a piece of end grain with a lot of character, a lot of figure, a lot of graining, all right? And then you can bore it to the right size. You can if you have to, hey, you have to. You put a block of wood on a double stick tape. I like the one that comes from Lowe's because it really sticks good. Double stick tape. I might be able to put the brand name in here because you can order it from Amazon.com, the brand name. And then you put it on that double stick tape and you bring it up, put your tail piece on it, your tailstock on it, and you push it on there. Get a cup of coffee. Give it a few minutes. You pull it away, it's going to stay there. But don't pull it away just yet. Now, let's knock the corners off. All right? With the tailstock up, knock the corners off. Keep it pressed up. Don't back it off. Don't be a hero. All right. Then we're going to pull it away, and we're going to easily take out that center. Easily. No forcing a bit. Do you have that? That's in the rules. No forcing a bit. We're going to take the center out. You can drill a pilot hole of 1/4, 3/8 of an inch with a twist drill. That's fine. And then you take a multi-tool or a small tool and you enlarge that hole slowly until you get it to the size you want. Now get this. This is your chance to shape up this thing. You've got it. You got it to the right size. You can check it with your gauge. You can measure on a micrometer. That'd be an expensive micrometer. It's just going to give you the size and that, and it compares to that, and be close enough. But then you finish the inside. That's right. Buff it all out, get it all done. Put a coat of finish on it. That's it. You can get it done. If that feels like you can put it on, you can put it on. Now you have to turn it around and get to the outside, the one everybody sees. So we're going to take it off that face block, take it off that pad, slip it on our homemade shop mandrel, and then we're going to shape up the outside. That's right. Gentle, easy slices. Do not get out that big half-inch carbide tool and go plowing into this thing. It ain't gonna like it. It ain't gonna like it at all. So, learn how to make a slicing cut. Mark's the way leads it. I call it a bias cut. Mark calls it a slicing cut. What I'll say is you get that tool and you turn it up on its heel and you go in and you slice and you take easy cuts. This is a plow. This is a slice. This is a plow. This is a slice. Plow when they blow up, slice and they cut. Okay, enough of that. So then you dress it off and then you sand it out. Now, you have to start sanding at about 80 grit or 100 grit, all right, because you want to get all the marks off. Not shaping and putting material off. You want to get the marks off. And then you want to go all the way up to maybe 400, maybe a little bit better than that. This stuff about going 1,000 and 2,000 and all that, I'm sorry, you ain't selling me on that. Okay, but if you buff it out, you won't have any marks. And the chatoyance, the cat's eye, the beauty of wood will come through a clear coat. But if your coat has got scratches because the wood's got scratches and nothing can come out, nothing comes out. It'll just look all right being flat and dull, but you don't want that. So now we shape the outside and we put it on there, and we get, remember, it's being held on our mandrel or our piece, our or the metal one if you bought the metal one. But all it takes is one drop of wax on that mandrel. One drop, one little touch to put it on there. When you put your ring on, and then when you get done turning the ring, you could sand it and buff it out, put your finish back on top of it, and it'll look like store-bought. No, I don't think it's going to look that bad. It's going to look better than a store-bought. So that's what you do. Now, let's talk a little bit about what is that what you do? Let's talk a little about what you're making. Okay. I said wood rings the other day on Pinterest, and I've got them that are made out of several layers of thin materials put together. I could clean up the shop floor and just find bits and pieces and glue them together, and that makes a nice piece. Remember to use the right glue. What would that be? I'd always stick with CA. And then I'll be looking at rings of mixed products. Maybe a piece of wood, a piece of corian, and a piece of aluminum between them. Where do you get the aluminum? Samples at Home Depot. Or cut a piece off of the downspout out back of its copper. Don't tell me about you did that. And put that in it. It's not harder than your tools, and you can machine it. It gives you a little bit of accent. Then let's stop being like this. Let's start going like this. Okay? You glue your block up, but before you have two pieces. Before you cut this out, kick it on that angle a little bit, and then make your straight cut and your straight cut, and the piece you end up with is got an angle on it like that. Now, that is going to really mess with your mind and your eye, because your focus on that joint of metal or whatever in there, or corian or epoxy or anything else, that's going to move, and that's what catches your eye. That's what makes it really unique. Now, if you're into casting, and that's a big deal now, and you're doing all these polys and all that stuff, every once in a while you'll be doing 2, 3, 4 colors, maybe, and you're going to have a little bit left. You always do. I always do. Get you another little container. Doesn't have to be big. It's got to be, maybe 1.25 inches round, and it's got to be maybe 1 inch high. That's a whole lot. and put it in there and mix it up. You've just created an epoxy ring blank. Really. Cast ring blank. Let it cure a couple of days. Put it in your pressure pot and push it down. But get it right. Let it cook and cure. And then when you machine it, be careful of the heat. That's why I don't like forcing the bits, the heat. Machine it, then you can start, just like we talked about. Then you're going to have a ring that nobody else in this entire world can make because you mixed it up. You whipped it together. You may have taken sawdust of different colors off the shop floor and sprinkled it into that when it was getting set up. Maybe you got some drill valve. Get this. If you go to a hardware store and look in their key making machine, it's got little chunks of metal, different golds and silvers and all this stuff. Just get a handful, clean it up a little bit. You can sprinkle that in your epoxy or your resin. Yeah, really get some dimension to it. But scraps of coriander are available at any place that sells kitchen countertops. I don't recommend using Formica. But if you can get the solid Formica, the solid colored Formica, that works a little bit too. Heats up a little bit. Be careful, you got to scrape it a lot. And then you'll end up with some nice stuff. Scraps of spalted wood do awesome rings. If you think it's a little bit weak, let's tighten it up a little bit of CA before we turn it. All right? But if you look at all the different signs and colors and shapes of rings that there are out there, you have to think about, I could take that. All right. And really, here's the bottom line, folks. You can build the rig you need to turn it with, and you can turn it on a machine you have, with the tools you currently have, with the finish you already have, using scraps of wood off the shop floor, and you can turn out some really nice stuff. Really nice stuff. Now, let's step it up a line and say you're going to use the inserts that you bond the wood on and all that. It's a whole nother ball game. Whole nother ball game. And the two parts that you snap together, whole nother ball game. But I was talking basics. If you want to take it a notch more, that's fine. But that's one item of things that you can make in ahead of time for holidays and for gifts and trinkets and all this. Remember, your grandkids all wear the same size. Just got to get the right grandkid the right size. But that's what we're going to focus on is things you can do in your shop at a reasonable cost, and it's a skill builder. I use that term way too much, don't I? It's a skill builder. Everything you do to that ring, you can do to a bowl, but a bowl is larger. Everything you can do to that ring, you can do with your tools, except they have to be more exact. Everything you can do on that ring is a finish that you're going to put on something larger. Everything you can do on that ring pertains to everything else you can do in your workshop. Everything. I don't hear that argument about, oh, I don't do rings, I do bowls. I heard guys who believe they're artists say, I don't do ink pens. They're just, nothing. You know what? They don't do them because they're not good enough. That's all it is to it. We're going to talk about pen making another day. Really. And coming up, bottle stoppers. Yeah. Here's an idea. We all do this. We all go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, or in this place, Mardi Gras. But we go there and we eat their food and we drink their wine. Wouldn't it be nice to bring a bottle of wine and a stopper that you made? Not the bottle of wine you made. I don't know. But the stopper you made, and give that to them. A piece of you will always be there. They will have something that you made for them. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. All right. Well, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You've been right here as I've been doing a little making shavings. And remind you once again, if you don't know anything about Worldwide Wood Turners, join us. Go to worldwidewoodturners.org. That's when we found out the details. In fact, on the cover page, I'm going to look right here. On the cover page right about there, let me see. Yeah, it's right there. I hit that thing. You like the sound effects? And it'll take me right to the meeting. Wednesday evenings, 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We open the doors 7 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time, we start chatting about wood turning, and we only talk about wood turning. No politics, no religion, no weather, nothing else. Only wood turning. And we're looking for you. Yeah, in fact, we had a seat open for you last week. I got to look at a few more of these rings. If I get a minute, I'm going to run some more to show you the rings. I really like this stuff. I got to look at, I know there was one on the list made out of plywood. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You stay safe, okay? Be good.